welcome to my channel Coding Warriors. So today in this session we are going to learn about if and else statement. So sometimes we need to execute a block of statement only when a particular condition is satisfied or not satisfied. Let's just say we have two variables, integer a and integer b, and they have the value 10 and 20 stored in it respectively. We need the addition of both the numbers. So the compiler will just see the variables, add both the variables and print the result as 30. So in this, no decision making is involved. The sim compiler is just doing what is to be meant. But if we want the compiler to think, to decide whether the condition is true or false and what all conditions I have to execute, then we need if and else statements. Suppose we have a simple program in which we have to tell if the student is passing the exam or he is failing. So suppose there is student 1 and the passing criteria is 75% and we have to enter the percentage of the student 1. If it is greater than 75, then the student is passing the exam, or else it is he or she is failing the exam. So the syntax for the syntax of if and else statement in C++ is, first we will write if, then the condition in two brackets and then the curly brackets. If the condition satisfies or is true, the task would be executed, which is between the curly brackets of if. Else, if the condition is false or not true, which is present in the if condition, then it will execute what is in else statement. So now we will talk about condition statements and if else statements. So we have basic 6 conditions which we can add, we can type between the brackets of if condition. So first is less than condition. So here we have a is less than b, which means a is a smaller number and b is a greater number. Suppose we put this into an if statement. If a is small than b, if it is true, then it will execute the code which is between the curly brackets of if statement, or else it will execute else statement. So we have an example here. 2 is less than 5. Is this correct? Yes, true. 2 is smaller number than 5. Then it will execute if statement rather than else statement. Now we have greater than. A is greater than b, which means the value which is stored in variable a is greater than the value which is present in b. So if we look at an example, if a is greater than b, and if we look at an example, 2 is greater than 5, which is false, because 2 is a smaller number than 5, which is false. So it will execute the else statement. Now we have less than or equal to. If whenever we see this condition, we should know in our minds that these are two different conditions. From this one condition we can conclude two conditions. So suppose a is less than or equal to 5, which means a is less than b or a is equal to b. So there are two conditions, is it? So if we look at an example, if a is less than or equal to b, 2 is equal to 5, which is totally wrong. But there is one more condition, 2 is less than 5, which is correct. So overall this condition is true and it will execute the if statement. We do not have to see which statement is wrong and which statement is false. In this two condition, one condition can be false and one condition can be true. But if both the condition is false, then the statement will execute else statement. Or else if one of the other statement is true, it will execute the if function. So here 2 is equal to 5, which is totally wrong, but 2 is less than 5, which is correct. That means it will execute the if statement, if condition. Then we have greater than or equal to. So similarly, if a is greater than or equal to b, so if we see the example, 2 is equal to 5, which is totally wrong, and or 2 is greater than 5, which is also false. So overall this condition is false and it will execute the else statement. Now equal to. So in my previous programs we have seen that if I want to equate anything, I write integer a is equal to 5. When I'm equating equal to 5, this means I am putting the value 5 into the variable a. But when I use equal to, it becomes a conditional statement. It is checking whether the number stored, whether the anything stored in variable a is exactly the same as variable b. So in this, if a is equal to b, then we have an example, phi is equal to 5. Yes, it is true. Then it will execute the if statement. Now we have not equal to. For not, we will use an exclamatory mark and then is equal to. So it is similar to equal to, but instead of equal to, we are using not equal to. So if a is not equal to b, then we have an example for it. Phi is not equal to 2. It is correct. Phi is not equal to 2. So it is a correct statement. So thank you.